AITA for doing to my BF's car what he does to mine. I, 21F, have been dating my BF 21M for a little over a year and have just moved in together. I have a really good job and own a $3540,000-ish Toyota Hilux that I use for work, while my BF owns a $10,000 at most Toyota Surf. This information is important to the story. I make significantly more than him. So my BF has this big idea that because my truck costs more and is cheaper to deal with, that we should use it 95% of the time and only use his for short distance travels. Or if I didn't fill mine up, which I'm fine with most of the time, as this is true, and his can be a bit unreliable sometimes. The problem I have is that he insists on using my truck for whatever he wants to do, and when I say no, he pulls the "we are a couple and should share everything between us, 50/50ths blah blah" card. Recently I found out that he took my truck off-roading through a mutual friend, and when he returned, it had scratches all up the driver's side and a dent on the front bonnet. I was furious. Our mutual friend said that was trying to see how much the truck could put up with and ended up losing control, which led to him sliding into a bank. He also said that he would speed down a straight and slam the brakes, which would lead the truck to spin out. When I got home later that day, I blew up at him and demanded that he help pay for the repairs that needed to be done, which he refused because he was saving up to make upgrades to his own truck. I left to go to a mate's house to cool down and ended up staying the night. When I checked my phone the next morning, there were text messages and missed calls from him asking where I was and that he needed my truck to do something. I refused again and didn't hear from him for the rest of the day. When I got home later that night, he said he was sorry and that he wanted to take me out to dinner and that we can take his truck if I liked. I said yes, and so we left with me driving his truck. When we were almost at our destination, I decided to give him a taste of his own medicine and abruptly put my foot on the brake, which led to his truck stopping quite suddenly. I laughed, but when I looked over at him, his face was twisted in anger, and he yelled at me asking how I could be so stupid and inconsiderate towards his truck. I was stunned. I quietly got out of the truck, called an Uber to take me home, packed some things, and went to my parents' house. My mom and his mom and the majority of our friends think he's TA, but my dad and some other friends said that I'm TA and should think about how he's feeling, and that his truck is a lot older than mine and more prone to breaking, which is starting to make me second-guess my feelings towards this whole thing. I feel like he's just using me for what I have and to get what he doesn't have. Update 1. It's been a crazy couple months with holidays and stuff, and I just needed to take a break from things. I met with his mum a couple days after Xmas, we talked, and long story short, she said that he has been struggling since he never had a male figure, but that doesn't excuse his disrespectful behavior towards me and my things. She said that he should be more than grateful that I pay for the majority of the things we own, and do, and outright said I should leave him. Honestly, before I met up with her, I had already planned on it. When I got home yesterday, I sat him down and gave him a rundown of the things he had done to me over the past year, and told him that we are done, and that I want him and his stuff out by morning, the day I wrote this. He was not happy and went into a shouting fit and started calling me all sorts of colorful words. He tried stepping up to me, but I held my ground and also had my dog with me, who is fiercely loyal, and got in between me and him. He was stunned to say the least, because he thought he had made a connection with my dog, but no matter what, he is loyal to me. I left and gave him one last warning that if he wasn't out by the time I got back today, that I will be calling the police. He was gone by the time I got back today, and I'm planning on getting the locks to everything changed. I contacted a lawyer who said that since my name is on the house and I pay for the majority of the costs, that there isn't much he can do. I got messages from my mates who said that he tried disrespecting me to them, but they gave him the cold shoulder. I arrived back home to find him there with a friend he had before we met, and he got ugly again, saying that I owed him, and if I didn't give him what he wanted, there would be consequences. I think he thought this threat would scare me, but I was over being the nice guy to him and told him that if he didn't leave immediately, that there would higher consequences for him. I showed him my phone, which was recording him, and he threw another temper tantrum. When he was leaving, he tried taking my dog with him. This is when it gets interesting. He opened my truck door where my dog was and tried grabbing by the collar, which led to my dog biting him on the arm. He left, and I called the cops to get a restraining order put in place. I messaged him and said that if he doesn't at least help me pay for the repairs to my truck, that I would be taking him to court and contacting his insurance provider. He hasn't gotten back to me yet, so yeah, safe to say, I've had my fair share of drama the last couple days, but it feels like a big weight has been taken off my shoulders, and I'm so glad I don't have to deal with him directly anymore. I'm looking at this as a good thing to take away stuff that I have learnt from this relationship to put into what I'll be expecting, and not expecting in my new one. Not that I'll be looking for a while.